Hello guys. Been playing some Robocop Rogue City Unfinished Business lately, and I still wanted to buy it, even though I had read there were some problems. It wasn't as good as the main game, and I can definitely agree. As someone who loved the main game, I bought it day one, right after playing the demo, which fully convinced me to buy the game day one, and I rarely do buy a game day one nowadays. But the I had a good feeling about it, and yeah, in fact, I was correct. Robocop Rock City was a pretty good, solid game. Not without flaws, of course, because I think to enjoy it like fully, you need to be a fan of the IP. Like you need to be a Robocop fan. Yeah, you can enjoy it even though maybe you're not very familiar with the franchise. But I think to get the most out of it, you need to be a Robocop fan. And so yeah, I ended up playing the base game 7 times, I think, overall. Because also right after a few months they did add some extra content like new game plus, an extra difficulty mode, and some little things here and there they added, like extra PCBs for the gun, and so on, if I remember correctly. So now, almost 2 years later, the DLC is out. It's a standalone DLC, so you can buy it even though you you don't have the main game, let's say, which is something that Theon, the developers, already did with Terminator Resistance. They did release a DLC for Terminator Resistance that did not require the main game. So, and they did the same thing here. Now, let's talk about the DLC. I think it's okay. Granted, nowadays buy you can find the main game, at least on PC, for $3. Like you can, I have seen it on CD keys, like the base game for $3. I did remember paying $30 back when it came out. I mean, it's definitely worth it, $30. But if you haven't played it and you think you might enjoy it, just just buy the main game or play it on Game Pass, because I think it's on Game Pass now. But I would suggest buying it so you support the developers at least. And the DLC now is $20 at least on PC. I think overall the main game is better, of course, but the DLC tries to improve on a few things, tries to add some content, but overall it's very derivative, in the sense that it doesn't really do much that's not worthy, in my opinion. Most of the things are kind of lame, honestly. There are a few things that are very enjoyable, but the things I don't like much, let's start with them. Uh, there are flashback scenes in the game, in which you play as Murphy when he was still human, which honestly don't add anything to the. Yeah, there are a narrative element, a narrative device, but honestly, in terms of gameplay, they are pretty boring. Honestly, there's also a flashback with one of the side characters, a black woman that you play as her, which is very boring. Honestly, yeah, it's a narrative device. I know, but I would have just made a cutscene, honestly, because it feels like they did put it in just to save I don't know, on the cutscene. It felt like a bit unnecessary, and like who asked for that? And that's one thing. Another thing I don't like. I mean, the game is feels kind of unfinished because there's a few bugs. I mean, nothing particularly bad, but it's kind of annoying. When you aim sometimes with the iron sight, the game will just not aim for some reason. Like it's like it goes into the motion of the iron sight, but then it just won't aim. The game like feels a bit janky. It's like it wasn't really finished. Unfinished business, yeah, I guess. But overall, like it doesn't feel very inspired as well because the setting, the game takes place in a building, let's say, so a la Die Hard. So of course it's not gonna have the same variety as the base game because the base game has no constrictions. Like you go around all over the city, and you see quite a few different locations, let's say, in the city. Here it's just you're inside this building, and it kind of gets boring after a while because it's all gonna be interiors. So it can feel a little after a while. It can feel a little bit boring. In terms of enemies as well, there are a few new interesting enemies, but for the most part they haven't really risked much in the sense. Some of them are nice, like the ninja. There are prototypes from the Robo Ninjas from Robocop 3 in this game, but for the most part, it's gonna be mostly mercenaries, the same types of mercenaries that were in the base game, which are kind of annoying to deal with because they are armored, so you have to shoot them a bit before being able to kill them. And yeah, they feel a bit annoying. Another thing to note is that you can play as Ed 209 for a brief period of time, and it's kind of fun, honestly, but I wouldn't buy the game just for that. Kind of like in Terminator's Resistance, you could play as the Terminator in an extra mode. Here it's incorporated in the story, but in Terminator Resistance it was an extra mode, but still feels very similar in that sense, conceptually, that you play as one of the enemies. One thing I really like is the heist gun. How do you want to call it? This is the freeze gun, because it feels very powerful, and it's the only other weapon that it's really fun to use. For the most part, there aren't really any new weapons, as far as I remember, compared to the base game, of course. It's mostly the same weapons, other than the freeze gun. There is also, I mean, of course, the Robocop gun. You can modify it with the PCBs. It's the same as the base game in this sense. And also the abilities. You start with a few abilities unlocked, of course, because the DLC is harder than the base game. From the straight up, it's harder. I'm playing on hard. I think, which it's the second to last difficulty level. There is only another one after the one I'm playing, which is hard. So I'm gonna replay it on the maximum difficulty. And so I mean, the game is definitely more challenging than the base game, so that's good in a way. but overall, I suggest you wait because it it's I wouldn't say it's a bad DLC. Actually, it's fun. I'm having fun overall, but I don't think it's worth the price I paid for it. I did pay $20, so I don't know on console how much it is, but yeah, let's say you buy it for $20. If you love the main game, yeah, it's gonna be worth it because it's just more of the same of the main game. But if you're not a super Robocop fan, I would say just wait for it to drop to $10. In a few months, this thing is probably gonna be 10, $11, I think. Also, there's quite a few technical issues still, which I hope will be ironed out. Like quite a bit of stuttering, which is kind of annoying, honestly. Yeah, stuttering for the most part. That's the main problem when it comes to the technical aspect. So, just a short video to let you know that the DLC is okay, but I don't think you should buy it right now. I did buy it because I wanted to support the dev and because I love the main game. I like Robocop, so more Robocop is always good in my book. But if you weren't crazy about the main game, just keep it for now. Just keep it and buy it when you find it for cheaper. Because the devs they could have done better, honestly. Like they had 2 years to polish up this thing, and the fact that they still release it like with performance issues, and there's really not much new or worth talking about. Uh, yeah, there's like takedown cutscenes, kind of like in Deus Ex, but honestly, who asked for those? It's very, very inoffensive, like very not required. Let's say, like who asked for them? I sure didn't. Like they could have done without them, honestly. Like some things, it feels like they have added them just because they could. They didn't have much budget, let's say, so they added things that were sort of cheap to add, just to say, yeah, we added this thing. But yeah, it feels kind of lame. I expected a bit more, honestly. Like I'm enjoying it, like I said, but it feels like a missed occasion. Also in terms of story, because Lewis gets sidelined again. Like in the main game, she was sidelined, and here she is sidelined again. I would have liked to have her more around to help us in this DLC, but no, she's not pretty much in the game at all. She's there only at the beginning for a few minutes, and then poof, she's gone, which is lame. And the story, I mean, it's nothing special. The one in the main game was better. The writing is better in the main game. Everything is better in the main game. Like, this is not Rush, but it just feels very low, a bit lower quality, a bit derivative. I would say if you're not a super fan of the main game, you can even skip this one. So, but if you like Robocop, pick it up because it's worth it. But yeah, just a little bit of some impressions on this DLC, and yeah, let me know your thoughts if you're playing it or what, and I'll catch you in the next video, which honestly I don't know when it will be. Depends on what I'm playing. If I'm playing something and I think it needs to be talked about, it's worth talking about, I'll make a video. Or else I'm not, because then there's no point. YouTube has gotten kind of boring, honestly, lately. So I'll make videos only when I feel like it. But yeah, thank you for watching, and catch you soon. Bye bye, guys.